The Cyclops. In the next land we found were Cyclops, giants, louts, without a law to bless them. In ignorance, leaving the fruitage of the earth in mystery to the immortal gods, they neither plough nor sow by hand, nor till the ground, though grain, wild wheat and barley, grows untended, and wine grapes in clusters ripen in heaven's rains. Cyclops have no muster and no meaning, no consultation or old tribal ways, but each one dwells in his own mountain cave, dealing out rough justice to wife and child, indifferent to what the others do. Important to note here, in leaving the fruitage of the earth in mystery to the immortal gods, it means they do not appreciate the gifts that the gods give them. They do not pick the fruit or tend to the earth in the right way. So, Odysseus and 12 of his men go ashore to meet the Cyclops. They bring wine for a peace offering and food for their own provisions. We lit a fire, burnt an offering, and took some cheese to eat, then sat in silence around the embers waiting. When he came, he had a load of dry boughs on his shoulder to stoke his fire at supper time. He dumped it with a great crash into that hollow cave, and we all scattered fast to the far wall. Then over the broad cavern floor he ushered the ewes he meant to milk. He left his rams and he-goats in the yard outside and swung high overhead a slab of solid rock to close the cave. 24 four-wheeled wagons with heaving wagon teams could not have stirred the tonnage of that rock from where he wedged it over the doorsill. This is a hyperbole, which is describing the immensity of that rock which guarded the cave. Next he took his seat and milked his bleating ewes. A practiced job he made of it, giving each ewe her suckling, thickened his milk, then into curds and whey, sieved out the curds to drip in withy baskets, and poured the whey to stand in bowls, cooling until he drank it for his supper. When all these chores were done, he poked the fire, heaping on brushwood. In the glare he saw us. "Strangers," he said, "who are you, and where from? What brings you here by seaways? A fair traffic? Or are you wandering rogues who cast your lives like dust and ravage other folk by sea?" We felt a pressure on our hearts in dread of that deep rumble and that mighty man, but at the same I spoke up in reply. "We are from Troy, Achaeans blown off course by shifting gales on the great South Sea, homeward bound, but taking roots in ways uncommon, so the will of Zeus would have it. We served under Agamemnon, son of Atreus. The whole world knows what city he laid waste, what armies he destroyed. It was our luck to come here. Here we stand, beholden of your help, or any gifts you give, as custom is to honor strangers. We would entreat you, great sir, have a care for the gods' courtesy. Zeus will avenge the unoffending guest." So, we see that in this time, it would be customary for strangers to be well taken care of in somebody else's home. And so Odysseus at this point in time asks that the Cyclops do exactly as Zeus would say. But he answered this with a brute chest unmoved. "You are a ninny, or else you come from the end of nowhere, telling me mind the gods. We Cyclops care not a whistle for your thundering Zeus, or all the gods in bliss. We have more force by far. I would not let you go for fear of Zeus, you or your friends, unless I had a whim to. Tell me, where was it now you left your ship? Around the point or down the shore, I wonder? He thought he'd found out, but I saw through this and answered with a ready lie. So, the Cyclops do not answer to the gods. And we see this once again. So Odysseus's reply about his ship, my ship? Poseidon, Lord, who sets the earth a-tremble, broke it up on the rocks at your land's end. A wind from seaward served him, drove us here. We are survivors, these good men and I. Neither reply nor pity came from him, but in one stride he clutched at my companions, and caught two in his hands like squirming puppies, beat their brains out, spattering the floor. Notice the simile here. And notice the lie. Why do you suppose he tells the Cyclops that his ship has been destroyed? Then he dismembered them and made his meal, gaping and crunching like a mountain lion. Once again we have a simile. Everything, innards, flesh, and marrow bones. We cried out, lifting our hands to Zeus, powerless, looking on at this, appalled, but Cyclops went up filling his belly with man-flesh in great gulps of whey, then lay down like a mast among his sheep. My heart beat high now at the chance of action, and drawing the sharp sword from my hip, I went along his flank to stab him, where the midriff holds the liver. I had touched the spot when sudden fear stayed me. If I killed him, we perished there as well, for we could never move his ponderous doorway slab aside, so we were left to groan and wait for morning. So why does Odysseus not kill the Cyclops? He doesn't kill him because they have no way of moving the stone.